So Saturday night, we get into the venue around 5 or 6. I think it was, yeah, somewhere around there. We were out in the Gorge Amphitheatre, and it was getting kind of windy, so we started to get cold. We decided to make the call and head back to camp, and that was at 8 o'clock. And it takes about 20 minutes to walk to our camp because it's about a mile away. Um, you know, uh, that's pretty much when everything started to happen. Was almost immediately as we arrived at camp. Um,
So what happened?
so so when we arrived at camp, um, there were a couple people, like our neighbors were there as well, and they were playing catch or something. And then suddenly they left. I didn't see where they went or anything like that. And I heard a couple of pops. I originally thought that the pops were fireworks, and somebody was just throwing firecrackers or something. But then I remembered that like, well, gunshots don't echo. I read that a long time ago online at one point. When like a lot of shootings started to happen, how to be alert. If you're listening for an explosion or like a gunshot or something, they're not going to echo, so it'll be just like one sudden like pop, and that's it. Um, and I heard one, then I heard two more, um, and I looked at my fiance and I was like, hey, I don't want to start a panic or anything, but I think somebody might be firing a gun. She's like, no, I think they might just be under the influence and throwing fireworks or messing around, whatever. Um, and Shortly after she said that, I heard somebody scream. It was a terrible sound. I wish nobody to ever hear anything like that. Um, Absolutely devastating. Um, I heard a scream, and then I heard a man shout. At least I believe he said this. You just killed my girlfriend, and he just like started screaming, "Why? Help me! What are you doing? Why would you do this?" Etc. Um, and then um, uh, I then heard somebody say he has a gun, all that sort of stuff. And that's when I was like, Asia, no, I think there's actually a shooter. Like, I think somebody's shooting. And she heard somebody scream, he has a gun as well. And at that point, um, uh, we had lowered our canopy down because it was really windy and we didn't want it to blow away. So we kind of hid under our canopy for a sec. I then called 911, and they talked to me and confirmed that there was active shooter around, and uh, they told me don't try and be a hero. Don't go and try and check it out. Get somewhere safe. If there's somewhere you can hide there. Just don't avoid it at whatever possible cost. Then I shortly after that, I got off the phone with 911, uh, about estimating maybe like 100 feet. At this point, I had crawled into our tiny little shower tent. My fiance, she was struggling to get the tent that she was next to open, so she ended up just laying on the ground. And her friend was already inside of her tent, starting to change when everything happened. Um, uh, so then we heard like footsteps, like somebody either running or walking through the grass about maybe 100 feet. So like they were probably from like I don't know, maybe here to like the blue house maybe. Um, uh, and we heard the grass kind of rustling under his footsteps. And then shortly after that, we heard a golf cart um, uh, driving up towards him. When that happened, I'm not sure how many more shots. It was at least 3 or 4 more shots he fired at the golf cart. What my fiance told me was she had lifted her head up when she heard the golf cart coming by, and she couldn't see the shooter. He was being blocked by one of our tents, but she saw the one of, I think he was a Live Nation employee. He stepped out of the cart and he instantly fell. He fell to the ground for his protection. We were told that he wasn't injured at all. Um, uh, and then the security lady that was driving the golf cart, she radioed in and we heard her sprinting towards our camping area. And she was radioing in that we need medics, we need police, we need all that sort of stuff. And she, I don't know if she just heard us or if she was just calling out in general for anybody in the area. She said, "Get out of your tents, get up, run," and she pointed, like in the pretty much just the opposite direction of the shooter, and she kind of told us to run diagonally, so that I'm assuming so we wouldn't stumble into the scene. Um, uh, and from there, we got out and we started running. We ran as fast as we could. I didn't stop until I got to the entrance of Section H, which